Hi, how you doing? Justin here again for part 3 of your major scale study. All of this information can be found on my website, which is www.justinguitar.com. So you might want to go and check that out and print out the PDF file because it might make the lesson a little easier. Okay, so what I'm going to discuss with you now is how to break out from your major scales, instead of them sounding really scalular, to make them sounding a bit more like music. There's the expression "you are what you eat." Well, it's kind of the same with scales. If you practice scales a lot, when it comes to improvising, you'll tend to play scales a lot. So it's really important that you, as soon as you can, you break out of playing the scales up and down and put them into at least some melodic patterns, like what I'm going to show you now. So what I'm going to show you is this little 5-stage routine that I used to use a lot, and still use a bit for breaking out of scales. The first step is just being able to play your scale up and down. Then you go to being able to play the scale up and down, changing direction at random. Then you go to playing random notes from within the scale, but being really, really careful that you only play notes that are in the scale. Okay? Then you go into doing a thing called playing thirds. Now, for those of you who know, chords are built up of an interval called a third. It's kind of like playing 1, 2, 3. So playing one note, missing a note, and then playing another note. Then going back to the one you missed, etc. This is called playing thirds. This is a very melodic way of playing, so this is a very good exercise to get into playing your scales in thirds. And then lastly, we're going to do 4 in a line, which is playing 4 notes of a scale, and then starting on the 2nd degree of the scale, and the 3rd, 4th, etc. Okay, so now we're going to go to a close-up on my left hand here, Jed, and hopefully they'll get to see exactly what I'm doing, if they're not following the tab already. But you are, aren't you? Okay, here we go. We're going to now explore the 5 different techniques that you can use for playing your scales. So the first one, straight up and down. So you would, we're just using position 1 for this whole little lesson. Of course, you should take this through all 5 positions. Once you get to each position, remembering that you're not going to go on to the next position until you've mastered the last. So here we are in position 1, playing first of all straight up and down. Now you would just keep doing that for, say, like a minute. Okay, then you'd move into part 2, which is playing the scale up and down but changing direction at random. But you're not skipping notes yet, you're still just playing the scale. Etc. There's no pattern to it, you're just really changing direction when you feel like it. Okay, the next step would be to play even and try and do it really consistently, evenly, just playing random notes from the scale. So you might go, etc. Don't do it too fast, make sure that you can play, just get to the notes, make sure that you don't hit any notes that aren't part of the scale. Okay, after you've got that, you'd move on to doing thirds. Now this is really important that you check out the tab for this and make sure that you do it really right. You're going to start on the first note, which is going to be the root note. You miss one note and play the next one. Then you go back to the one you missed. Miss a note, play the next. Back to the one you missed. Miss a note, play the next. Back to the one you missed, etc. All the way up the scale. Watch out here because you've got to do 2 with the same finger, it's a bit awkward. And back down, you just missed one, hit the next, go back to the one you missed. It's not that hard. Okay, and once you've got your third sorted, then you would move on to this one called 4 in a line, which we'd start on the first note of the scale and play up 4 notes. Then we'd start on the second note of the scale and play up 4 notes. Then on the third note of the scale, fourth note of the scale, fifth, sixth. Once you get to the top, we're going down 4 that start on the second highest note. Again, always starting and finishing on the root note for those patterns of thirds and fourths. So I would suggest you go through all of those patterns, and when you've got through all of those, you'll probably find that when you go to improvise, you'll play a lot less scales and a lot more nice melodic patterns. Okay, see ya.